That's a joke. But thank you guys so much. It's an important step. Right now, H-2B visa report is an important step to help the economy continue to grow. I'm proud to stand here today to applaud this increase in visa availability and to promise all of you I'm going to work for more. Thank you guys. Go Who's! Thank you guys.
Outside of
hey, talk louder.
Yes.
Is that microphone work?
Yes. It's Brett Brownley, Archway Lawn Care, outside of St. Louis, and I think Congresswoman Wagner, you've heard from Brett and Archway a lot, and a lot of your constituents. One of the most active groups we have in the St. Louis area, very reliant on this program. So go ahead and then introduce the Congresswoman.
All right. If you guys are anything like me, you'd rather be home running your business, especially talking to a large group like this. This is nuts. But appreciate you guys being there. Like Grace said, my name's Brett Brownley. I'm owner with my brother BJ of Archway Lawn Care out of St. Louis, Missouri, the great Show Me State. We're here because this needs a fix. It needs a permanent fix. We all need stability and be able to plan. We use the H-2B program because the labor market for seasonal temporary jobs is almost impossible to find. In the state of Missouri, unemployment's about 3%, which is essentially full employment. This seasonal labor wasn't there 8 years ago during the Great Recession, certainly not there now when our economy's booming. When we get our visas, it allows us to create year-round management positions, inside sales jobs, allows us to invest in our local economy, buying trucks, equipment, things like that. This year, we were capped out for the first time since we've used the program. It's cost us north of $350,000 in lost revenue already, and that will balloon to about $500,000 before this is all said and done. So the time is now. Like I said, I'm from the Show Me State, and I think it's time our elected officials show you guys and show me a permanent fix and that our cries are being heard. That's why I'm honored to introduce a champion of the program, my Congresswoman Wagner. Thank you.
Brett, like you, I would much rather be home in St. Louis than here in the swamp. But we've got to get this done. You don't have to cut so much grass in the swamp here, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm so grateful for all of your advocacy, especially those in the St. Louis metro area that have really banded together on everyone's behalf. You know, we're obviously here to champion small businesses, and it's been amazing the work we've been able to do in terms of the H-2B visa cap. I'm grateful for your voice and your advocacy. We all know how critical these H-2B visas are to our local and national economies to preserve American jobs. Every H-2B visa supports over 3 jobs for American workers. Are we clear about that? Every H-2 visa translates to 3 American jobs for workers, and supporting this program is just absolutely common sense and good economics. Congress must provide the certainty for our businesses so that we can take on new jobs and clients and hire employees and grow your businesses. That is absolutely the key to all of this. I have met and written and banged the door and banged my fists and jumped up and down all over the Department of DHS with officials, the Secretary, time and time again at Homeland Services, and expressing our urgent need in all our communities to release these additional visas. I'm thrilled, as you all I know are, that on March 29th we got an additional 30,000 visas released. But I am also frustrated with the process. Legislators must stop playing partisan politics with local businesses. We need permanent cap relief. Do you agree? Permanent cap relief. So this program is not tied to some arbitrary and outdated numbers, but it needs to be tied to the needs of our seasonal business, period. I just want to thank you again for making your voices heard. You certainly have in my office, and I'm doing whatever we can here, along with my tremendous colleagues here. Another great member of the Missouri delegation, and Billy Long, who also has heard your voices and your stories and is echoing these concerns. They've heard it loud here, and they need to hear it again and again on Capitol Hill. My colleagues do agree that this is the right thing to do for our communities, for our business, for our economy. Thank you. Godspeed. You have my full and total support. Okay, all right.
I'm Nick Rummel with Rummel Lawn and Landscape out of Kansas City, Missouri. We've used the program for many years. This year we did get capped out, and we've been struggling. We hired 4 people on Friday. 1 person showed up on Monday. So you guys all know what I'm talking about here. Yep. So with that, we have a great supporter here with Billy Long, and I can't say enough great things about him. He's been there since day one, being a champion for us. So, Billy? Thank you.
What is H-2B? Am I at the right place? We've heard a lot of preaching of the choir here today, because you all get it. So I'm just going to tell you one quick story, and I'm going to get out of here. We March the 30th, I called, and I'm old enough to remember when Kristen Nielsen was still the secretary of DHS. So I called Kristen Nielsen up. Congressman Long, can I speak to Kristen? We're sorry, Congressman, she's tied up. And I said, well, I just have one question. Have you increased that cap on H-2B visas yet to 30,000? Said, yes, sir, we have. I said, oh, okay, good, and hung up. March 31st, I called over to DHS. I said, can I speak to Kristen Nielsen? They said, sorry, Congressman, she's not here today. Well, I said, can we help you? And I said, yeah, I got a question for you. Have you raised that cap on H-2B visas by 30,000? Said, yes, we did. We did that a couple of days ago. Oh, okay, thank you. So then on April 1st, I called over to DHS. This Congressman Long, and I speak to Kristen Nielsen. They said, well, I'm sorry, Congressman, she's not here. And I said, can we help you? And I said, yeah, I just had one question. Have you raised that cap on H-2B visas 30,000? Now, I know this is April Fool's Day, Congressman, you know, and I don't want to be insulting to a congressman, but Congressman Long, haven't you called here the last 3 days in a row, and haven't I told you for 3 days in a row that we have raised that cap 30,000? I said, oh, I know, but I just love hearing it. Thank you all. God bless you, and I think, as Bill did, I think I jumped the line.
Good morning. I'm Chris Ponzani from Ohio. I have a landscape business, and we employ about 45 people, and we have 16 H-2B visa workers. Last year we got capped out, and as the gentleman said earlier, we have ghost interviews where people come for an interview. Well, they're supposed to. They don't show up, though. We hired 3 people this year. They didn't show up for work. Last year we went through 85 people just to fill my 16 visas. That was about 2 to 1/2 people per week during our work season. It was an absolute nightmare. I want to introduce Representative Johnson from the 6th District of Ohio.
Thank you very much. This is a problem that transcends politics. This should not be a Republican or a Democrat problem. This is an American problem. Small businesses in America create 60 to 70% of the jobs. Most of the organizations, most of the companies that are represented here are small businesses. The very small businesses that we worked so hard to help with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act just a few months ago, now they're in trouble and they can't stay alive because they can't get the workers that they need to fill the positions that they have. You hear a lot of talk on television about immigration reform. Nobody's relating it, though, to the implications to small business. If you look at what's happening in America today, 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day, going on the retirement rolls. That's 70,000 this week, 3.5 million this year. And over the next 20 plus years, we're going to put 50 million Americans on the retirement rolls. When you combine that with the drug problem, not being able to pass the drug test, when you combine that with labor laws that won't let high school kids push a lawnmower anymore unless it's their own dad's lawnmower, because that's considered an industrial equipment, you're out of a labor force. So what do? Nobody's talking about the fact, do you know how many legal immigrants we need to backfill that aging, retiring workforce and unavailable workforce? 1 million a year. 1 million a year. And these H-2B visa workers, these seasonal workers, are legal workers. That's exactly the kind of workers we need to bring here. I'm a farm boy. I'm a farm boy. I was raised on the farm. I know how important it is to get the workers you need when you need them. Because if you can't get the workers that you need to pick the apples or to work the fields or to do the other work that you need to have done, whether it's landscaping or amusements. How many of you went to a county fair this year or to a state fair? I don't know if you've noticed how many of those county and state fairs have pulled back on the amusement rides because they don't have workers to go out and set them up. I tell you, folks, this is a problem that needs to get solved. You heard from one of my constituents just a few minutes ago, a landscaper. This is a problem that can be solved. It should be solved. I'm happy with the 30,000 expanded visas. That doesn't solve the problem. We need a legislative fix, a permanent fix, and my colleagues and I, some of us here understand that. We need more of us to understand that. That's why it's important that you're here. You keep yelling, we'll keep preaching, we'll get it done. God bless you. Thanks for being here.
I think it came from over here. Hi, how are y'all doing today? My name is Aubrey Vincent. I am a crab meat processor. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm going to try my best. I don't speak the loudest sometimes. My name is Aubrey Vincent. I'm a seafood processor from Maryland's Eastern Shore. This will be our 24th season in the H-2B program. We come from a community of 165 people. We hire 105. So naturally, we've got some labor shortages in our area. We've been depending on this program to fill in seasonal jobs and to support a dependable American staff for, like I said, 24 seasons. Last year, we were capped out of the program. We were left with 105 seasonal openings. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find staff and weren't able to get staffed until the October cap, which essentially left us without about 40% of our sales. Thankfully, through last year's trials and tribulations, we had representation we could count on in Washington, and for that, we are eternally grateful. That being said, it is my pleasure to introduce my Congressman, Andy Harris.
First of all, thank you everybody for being up here. You can't imagine how important this is. You know, I've been fighting. Look, I represent the 1st District of Maryland. Maryland has seasons. If you have seasons, you need seasonal workers. Yeah. And in my district, it's companies like Aubrey's that are seafood processors. We have big tourism industry, amusement, landscaping. We have all the full range of seasonal industries, and we don't have enough workers, especially now that the economy is at full employment. We are not going to get Americans to do the jobs, nor should we expect Americans to do highly seasonal work. The bottom line is that we need seasonal workers. Now, the good news is that, and I'm a doctor, you know, they put a little Band-Aid on last year. They put a little bigger Band-Aid on this year, but we got to solve the problem. The bottom line is we got to solve this problem permanently. We're making progress, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a bipartisan effort, and your presence over the last few years has made a real difference. As I go up to other members who I thought weren't really favorable to the idea, are hearing from you all. They're hearing that in almost every district in this country, there are people who need seasonal workers, small businesses, medium-sized businesses. They depend on these workers, and their livelihoods are threatened when Congress doesn't take action. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one group that's responsible for setting the quotas on this. It's Congress. Congress hasn't done it. You should demand action. Now, once again, we'll try again this year. We'll try to get a permanent fix. If we have to settle for something less, we're going to try to get more than we did this year because we know we're way short of the numbers of workers we need. That's the bottom line. But you got to keep the pressure up until Congress decides to solve this problem. So once you leave here, go to all the offices on that side, on this side, spread the word. Your word is being heard. I tell you, as I talk to members, they are hearing it, and I think every single day we get closer to solving this problem, which is one thing we need to do for all of you and for the country's economy. Thank you very much for being here today.
Hi, I'm Judy Ogden from Long Island, New York. The biggest issue I hear about the H-2B guest worker program is that we need to protect the American worker. We can't take jobs away from the American worker. We can't release more visas because we need to protect American jobs. There are American workers who want these jobs. Hire American. I started my landscape company, Ogden's Design and Plantings, close to 30 years ago. I quickly learned that Americans didn't want to do the work, but immigrants did. And the H-2B program provided a way to hire documented workers. I've used the H-2B program continuously for the past 20 years. This year I applied for 13 workers and I got none. Since March 1st, I've been running an all-out hiring campaign blitz. It's do or die. If I don't get workers, I can't operate. I've helped wanted ads in local papers, a sign in front of my businesses, flyers that I've hung up in laundromats, delis, and barbershops, suppliers who have allowed me to place help wanted signs at their counters. Even our local TV, News Channel 12, covered this story and included a picture of me at my business with my help wanted sign and phone number. And how many people have I been able to recruit from all of this effort? Zero. None. If there are American workers who want this job, I have not been able to find them. Right now, I've signed contracts for over $500,000 of work that I won't be able to fulfill if I don't get the workers I need. And who will be affected? Americans, office staff that I will have to let go, businesses whose services and products I will no longer use, and the clients I can't serve. This winter, along with close to 80 companies from the east end of Long Island, we reached out to our local congressman for help. He's been a strong advocate for the program and recognizes that a long-term fix is needed to be part of the solution. I'd like to introduce to you, serving as the U.S. representative for New York's 1st Congressional District, Congressman Lee Zeldin.
Just now, as you were hearing from Judy, it wasn't a speech that she was given to fire up a crowd. It was a deep personal experience that she is going through and that you all can relate to. This is real, and you are the engines of the American economy. But you're here right now because you know how important this is, not only to other people and other communities elsewhere, like what Judy is going through and others who are traveling here from the east end of Long Island, where I represent the 1st Congressional District of New York, but all across America. You are representing hundreds, thousands of employers going through real pain in trying to navigate this system. It's a great problem to have. When you see a $30,000 cap get lifted, and you can navigate a process with another opportunity to get approvals you weren't able to get the first time. It's a good problem to have on the east end of Long Island, where we have more available jobs than people to fill the positions. But unless the H-2B process is reworked, and in my district it's also the H-2As as well, unless these are reformed and improved, our economies are going to seriously suffer. And with these H-2B visas, as was pointed out by speakers before me, these are workers coming to our country legally and paying taxes to support our local economies and to allow you to be able to earn a living and to be able to support your local communities. Now, this should not be a partisan issue.
This shouldn't be an issue that only one house of this Capitol building is focusing on. Right here, right now, should be Republicans and Democrats, both in the House and the Senate, from more states around America, standing with you to get this over the top. This immigration debate should not be holding hostage all of you for other issues that are more controversial. This shouldn't be controversial. So a message to all of my colleagues that while we are happy with a temporary fix, we are seriously and completely unsatisfied with the lack of a permanent solution. It's great that this rally is going on today, where the purpose has changed over the course of the last week and a half. When I first heard about today's rally, the purpose was going to be to call for the Secretary of Homeland Security to increase the cap. That's a good thing that it was done. But what's even better about you being here is that you're not satisfied with a temporary solution where you said, you know what, we don't need to do a rally. We're still coming. We're frustrated of going through this year after year after year, so we will be there. We will leave our businesses during this crucial time to be standing outside of this chamber to send a message to all Republicans and all Democrats in the House and the Senate that we are happy with your temporary solution, but completely, totally unsatisfied with the lack of a permanent fix. Put aside the partisan politics. Put aside your controversial fights over other unrelated immigration issues and get this done, because Judy's pain that you heard just now, I know, even though I haven't met almost all of you, I'm confident that her pain is your pain, and that needs to get fixed between now and March Madness of next year. Thank you.
I want to introduce Peggy Anderson of Anderson Midways up in Standish, Michigan, northern Michigan. Peggy?
Right behind you. Hi, I'm Peggy Anderson. I'm with Anderson Midways out of Michigan. I provide rides, games, and foods to organizations, fairs, and festivals for their fundraisers. Without these fundraisers, they wouldn't be able to supply scholarships or fund their church schools, etc. And the local community would suffer. I hire each and every U.S. worker I can. But there are insufficient U.S. workers that are willing to work and travel to set up and take down the rides. Without my H-2B workers, I cannot safely and efficiently provide the services I am contracted for. If I'm not able to obtain the temporary foreign labor, my business, I would have to lay off my entire work staff from the U.S., and I'd have to close my business. Thank you to the Trump administration for opening up the 30,000 visas, and now I urge Congress to permanently increase the cap and reform the program. Now, I'd like to introduce a strong advocate of the program, and he's a strong advocate of the seasonal business in his district, Jack Bergman.
Well, good morning, everyone. In case anybody doesn't know, I'm a Marine. We come with a built-in megaphone. Okay? So, number one, thank you for being here. Number two, thank you, as I look across all the signs, for all the positive signs. Positive. You're here for positive reasons. In northern Michigan, in case anybody doesn't know, we have winter. And a lot of our hospitality shuts down in the winter because tourists do not come. So if you're an American worker, you're not going to have a job in the wintertime in the hospitality industry in certain parts of northern Michigan. The point is, we as a seasonal employer in for guest workers, what we need, those guest workers that come allow our seasonal hospitality businesses to thrive. And when you talk about thriving, it means in an economy that is driving everything else, and small businesses need those guest workers for that seasonal employment, because in many cases that seasonal employment will provide a few long-term jobs for our year-round workers. Now, make no mistake, H-2Bs and guest workers are not, I repeat, not immigration. It is not immigration. It is long past time that we separate out what it means to have a guest worker program, whether it's H-2A, H-2B, H-2, whatever alphabet you're going to here, but to define it by industries that need the guest workers. So it is high time that we move past this fruitless debate with regards to immigration in this. So what I would suggest to you, the next first step, which was already taken to release the extra visas, we're overdue, but when we think about the quarterly allocation, that doesn't necessarily buy it either, because the bottom line is, again, in my district, we need them to be there right now, all of them, because those resorts, those providers, if you will, whether it be transportation to and from places like Mackinac Island, they need the people now. By the time it's July, it's too late. We need the visas now. Yeah. Don't quit. Continue to push the message. Continue to push, whether it's DHS, Department of Labor. We know we're getting support from the White House on this, but we need to move the bureaucracies forward to get the guest workers that we need right now. Again, my final comment is, don't quit. And as we move forward on here, make sure we get, as a part of this, to smooth it out going forward quickly, returning worker exemptions. People already vetted. They've been here. They're good folks. Let's get them back. They get here to work and they can go back to their home country when they're done with their seasonal job, and we can continue to flourish. Thank you. And you know, so many times we end a little speech with saying, God bless America and God bless you all. I'm going to ask you something different today. We've got the greatest country in the world. We know that because we fought for it hundreds of years ago. Our ancestors did. From time to time, we've had to fight for it. We're fighting for the right thing right now to get the guest worker program. When you leave here, say a prayer for somebody today and help somebody be a better American and help someone to be better at who we are as a nation. Thank you.
All right, we're waiting on one more member of Congress to speak, but I want to highlight a couple stories that encapsulates the H-2B visa program and the importance to small business. Allison Madrana, are you here? Flip Long here? Anyway, she was here. Now she's gone. But these are small companies that bring in 4, 5, 6 workers. I think Cliff, I don't know how many. I think they applied for 5 workers this year. And these are not people requesting 500, 2,000, 3,000 workers. A lot, like 20% of H-2B employers bring in 5 or less workers, and they would not go to this trouble, to the expense to bring in workers if they could find American workers. It's an extremely expensive program, especially more expensive the less workers you bring in. So I just want to make that point that a lot of you are truly small business, and the media that's here, it says that this is just an outflow of every other visa program, and you're all just looking for cheap labor. I mean, I dare them to speak to any of you here that are just struggling. It's not the difference between a $1 billion profit and a $2 billion profit. It's the difference between surviving and going out of business. So, you know, these are American workers and American lives that are at stake, and your communities that will really suffer. So, I hope everyone that's a huge takeaway from today's rally as we go into trying to fix this program in 2020. Is Congressman Klein here yet? What about Bill Grandy? Are you here? Bill Grandy? No? Okay. Would you want to say a couple words?
Yeah.
So Bill owns a farmer's market down in Corolla, North Carolina, on Outer Banks, and you did not get your workers, what, in 2017?
We didn't get our workers in 2017, and as a result of that, we were not even able to open up our business that summer. I mean, we have a produce and seafood market that we open up from the middle of May till the middle of September, and it's quite a big deal. We do about $1.7 million worth of business out of that. That entire revenue was lost summer before last. Last year, we did get our help, and we were not able, our sales didn't quite meet that, and now the whole thing has repeated itself again. We're not going to get our help this year. So we absolutely do not know what we're going to do, because we are in an area that is so labor deficient. There is not a pool of labor at all to draw from where we're at. And we have tried. We have put ads in the local newspaper, advertising for $20 an hour. We don't even get a response. So we need a lifeline right now. That's what and we're all in the same boat. We need a lifeline. We need a life raft thrown to us now, and then figure out how to fix all this down the road. I mean, the time is here. It's not tomorrow. It's today. And I know, and I know I'm just preaching to the choir, and we're all in the same boat. So I appreciate you letting me talk, and good luck to everybody. I hope this 30,000 visas help, but it's just a Band-Aid. We need a permanent fix to this. Thank you.
And we thank the administration, but we urge them to publish the rule so that you guys can file for your visas. So very thankful, but let's publish the rule, and so that you can go ahead and apply for your visas. So I want to thank you all for being here. I know many of you are going on to the Hill and back to your businesses, but thank you for being here, taking the time, spending the money and the resources, and let's save H-2B. Everyone raise